actually going to be talking about what happened yesterday, the impact of Powell on the markets, and we're going to be using the gold charts to explain that. And also, do well to pay attention. We're also going to be looking at this same analysis on BTC as well. If you follow our videos, you should be able to get that. Now, for those who may not necessarily have full knowledge about news, one of the ways to trade the forex market or the crypto market is first of all technical analysis, and the second part of that is fundamental analysis. And fundamental analysis is when we have high impact news in the market. When we have high impact news in the markets, right? So now, Jerome Powell is actually an American investor banker, but he's also a lawyer who has been the 16th chair of the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve is that of the US. Now, whenever the chairman of the Federal Reserve makes comments or has a speech, there is always massive momentum move in the market, and these are times where people make tremendous amount of money, and these are also times where people can also blow their accounts. Is very very is a very certain thing. That's why most traders, what they do at the beginning of the day, they check out what we call the forex calendar, that will be able to tell them if that day there's any high impact news. That can actually be a form of guide that would ensure that they actually make the right trading decisions. Now, in our analysis, in the previous episode, we actually anticipated that the market was going to go down. You can see that our chart is still showing that here. We anticipated that the market was going to go down. That was the anticipation to get to buy from this point. This was the point of buy, right? That was anticipated. But then during that news, the bias, a lot of people had this bias for a sell. You understand? A lot of people expected, including myself, that the market was going to buy from this point. At some point, it was going to buy, but then it did not get to that zone of buying. It actually reacted from this point, which is like a point of support. You can see that it reacted from this point, which was like a point of support, and went all the way up, right? So those who actually trade support and resistance would have made some crazy funds from this. And we can also see here that we actually had this point here, which was a point of sell, right? To sell the market to the downside, which the market got to that zone, and before the market closed, you understand? So that is that on this part, right? So, but then what was the news? Let's look now. This was the news actually, right? You can see here now. If you're seeing this for the very first time, the site here is called forestfactory.com, right? So the news, the date there was 22nd. You can see here Friday 22nd. Friday 22nd. Now, there are so many news that actually are shown here, but I've been able to streamline my Forex Factory platform to actually show me the major news. Now, there are news that are, you see the ones on red are actually the high impact news, while the ones that are in the other color looking like orange is also high impact news. We also have news that are in yellow and white, but then I had to take that away from this chart to just focus on the ones that are high impact news, right? So on the 22nd, which was the day for the high impact news, we had 1 p.m. we had core retail sales month by month, retail sales, but then 3 p.m. was actually the main time for the Federal Reserve chair Powell to actually make a speech. That was the main time where the market actually went up. Now, there was no, when you're trading the forex time, the news fundamental, there are what we call, if you see those parameters by the right hand side, if you look at the top, you're going to see actual, you're going to see forecast, and you're actually going to see previous, right? So a lot of people trade the forecast and the actual, meaning what is the news, what is the figure that is being predicted by a lot of people, and also what is the actual figure. That is what determines the direction of the market. But then you can see here there's no parameters on that, right? So there's no parameter. So that the Federal Reserve Chair is actually has a major impact in the market. So if you click here on you see those folders there. So I'll click on that particular one. You're going to see here description due to speak about the economical outlook and monetary policy framework at the Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium in Wyoming. Speaker, of course, the Federal Reserve Chair. Usual in effect, more hawkish than expected is good for currency, right? More hawkish than expected is good for currency. So this is actually why traders care. As head of the central bank, which controls short-term interest rates, he has more influence over the national's currency value than any other person. Traders um, scrutinize his public engagement as they are often used to drop subtle clues regarding future monetary policy. So now these are also histories of when he has been speaking. If you check them, because he has been the Federal Reserve chair since 2018. So if you go all the way down, right, you're going to see several. If you click on more here, you're going to see several days all the way down to 2018 when he's been chair. So you can see that his first speech was from April 6th, 2018, right? So that is that on this part. So his news are always his speeches are always very highly impactful. You understand? You get me? Highly impactful. And it comes from time to time. That's why you also need to pay attention to the market, right? So this is just that. And this was the major thing that actually made the markets to go up massively, like massively, you understand, tremendously to the upside, you understand. And we can BTC in this video as well. Like we can also see that in BTC as well. We also looked at here what BTC did was also very interesting. It came to the zone that we outlined. This line here, you see this line here. It came to to this zone here, right? We outlined and tapped it and went all the way up, buying massively to the upside and came to this zone, right? So, but then if you had taken this parameter here to sell, you're correct, right? You can see that you're correct, but then you would have the stop loss was taken out by some few inch. So probably you would have been stopped out and have some amount of loss. But then this is just the whole idea around it, right? So this same massive move, right, also got the points where you see the first zone of entry, second zone of entry. These are back-to-back stop loss that was we had, right? Or anybody who takes this trade will have because of this point of this, right? But then anybody who took the trade from this zone here would have gotten a crazy buy to the upside and made some crazy amount of money. Like I said, the whole idea was all based on the fact that the Federal Reserve Chair made a speech and the speech was favorable to the currencies, and we saw buys from so many currencies that were in support of this. Of course, there are some other instrument that's traded that experienced a sell. It's possible as well too, but then buys were all true. Buys were all true, and that's one of the unique things about the Federal Reserve Chair. So if you're in the right direction of the speed, then trust me, you should be making some crazy amounts of funds. Got value, do well to subscribe to our channel. Do well to like the video. Do well to comment if you have a question or contribution. And also don't forget to know fully well that if you have interest, want to learn how to trade, you can enroll into our academy. We offer the right knowledge that you need, depending, do you want to have an online class if you're not in the city where we are, to have a physical class in our institute, or even you're in our city but you don't have the time, you just want something online. Trust me, we have students around the globe, not just only Nigeria, that who have benefited from or who have participated in our academy, and they've been empowered with the right knowledge that can actually help them stay profitable trading the financial markets. The financial markets, of course, the forex markets, the crypto markets, and stock market as well. So thank you very much once again. Once again, I want to encourage you, do well to subscribe to the channel. Please do that. Do well to like the video if you also have a question, or a contribution, do well to also comment in the comment section. If you have a video that you also want us to make or talk about, or a topic, do well to drop it in the comment section. We're going to look at that and create a video around that so far it's related to trading. We'll be happy to do that. Thank you very much.